I just imagine that's what you said. Morgan was born the year
No,
I
no,
got
no,
like Conquering.
Come on. We're live on YouTube now. That's going to be there forever. Just like Jared's wife's ass.
All
Can
right.
y'all hear me?
That's got to be one of the
Thank you,
highlights of
YouTube.
the 2017 Horror Syndicate podcast.
Let's do the intro. All right, I'm doing the intro. We're going to start
We're
soon.
live on.
hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Morgan, I offered my lightsaber to you. Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Oh.
What are we going to call our podcast in 2018?
What are we going to call the podcast in 2018?
Yeah. Probably just going to be the four of us.
I don't know.
I kind of like THS Lives.
TH Lives podcast.
THS Lives.
All right, here we go.
Do a fan vote.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our end of the year podcast episode of the Horror Syndicate live here tonight. We are so excited to talk about the best and the worst and the movies that surprise the shit out of us, and not to mention maybe some video games of the year of 2017 as we embark into the next year. And see what horror has in store for us fans. So I'm very excited for tonight's show. But let's get around to everyone who is here tonight. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me here at The Horror Jew on Twitter, Facebook, and other social media stuff.
Instagram.
So I'm excited about that. Instagram. Yeah. So, and you can follow The Horror Syndicate on Instagram too, because you definitely want to check that out. We got some cool-ass, bomb-ass pictures that we post up all the fucking time. Up next, we have, in no particular order, Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening, Brian, and all you folks at home. You can find me at Zombie Jared Letourneau on Facebook. Nice to see all you pretty faces again.
Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, we have Morgan. Morgan, good evening.
Good evening. And you can follow me on Twitter at Morgan_Jewel_S. And my Wi-Fi sucks tonight, so I probably won't know what's going on during half of this podcast. So, yeah.
Not a problem. We're only just going to talk about the important things that happened in 2017. But we'll keep you informed with your AOL dial-up Wi-Fi. So, and last but not least, we have our president and Fuhrer, Razor.
Hi. You can
With a beard.
With a beard, yeah. You can. This is what I've been doing in the absence of our podcast, trying to grow this fake beard. You can find me at Razor_33. Check out Apogee Comics on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and wherever else comics will be sold. Excited to get 2017 behind us. Let's go for it.
Hell yeah. I'm excited. A lot of cool stuff happened in 2017. We had some pretty crazy movies out there. A lot of fan favorites such as Raw, Mother, Get Out, and it was a huge one. It was probably the most commercially successful horror movie, movie this year. I believe they made over $350 million in box office here in the U.S. alone, which is fucking awesome, especially for a horror movie, especially for horror fans. That's just good stuff for us. Better than the Marvel movie, you said?
Bringing in that Marvel money.
Marvel money.
I was gonna say, I think it's gotten over $500 million worldwide.
Yeah, I think it's over 6 too. Let me double check.
That's crazy though. Like, people say horror is a dying art. Like, that movie alone proved that you can actually make an R-rated movie and it's still fucking kick ass in the theaters.
Tons of buzz though surrounding that movie.
True.
Man, a lot of the fans I wonder were fans of the 1990 the miniseries, like Brian, for instance. $698 million.
Holy shit.
That's awesome.
Dollars, I should say, not dollar. $698 million.
They made $1. Yeah, no, that's fucking cool. And like, I know like Buzz for a while, people were like, "Oh my god, the original kids from the Losers Club should come back and reprise their roles as adults because
Ian.
yeah, like except Jonathan Brandis, who is no longer with us.
Right.
Which is it's sad because I would have loved to see Jonathan Brandis in his later point of his career. Since we've had a lot of child actors, come out with, through social media, through nostalgia, and it's a shame because every time I even see people in conversation say, "Oh, where's Jonathan Brandis?" and I don't have the heart to tell him that he's not here with us anymore. But I do recommend Sidekicks, which was with Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that was a great one.
Wasn't he in like some Aqua World show or something like that?
Yeah, with Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
I was always more of a Ladybugs guy with Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He cross-dressed.
Yeah.
I miss Rodney.
I
miss
used to
them
get
both.
him and, Brad Renfro confused.
Oh, another one that's gone.
Yeah, he was good.
Man,
That
I
people
know.
and Client.
Well, at least we still got River Phoenix.
Wow.
Too soon? No, it's not.
It's been 25 years, I think, since he died.
I mean, fuck. I mean Joaquin. Fuck.
Joaquin.
Ah. I did
Have
not
you
mean
guys
River
seen the
Phoenix.
movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
Is that the one where he's hanging upside down? Or there was a YouTube video of him on his cell phone, and he was hanging upside down, and his forehead was making a smiley face.
Oh, I maybe. It's about him, like his girlfriend leaves him and he starts up a new computer, and it's like a person, like AI, and he falls in love with her. It's weird. Anyway.
What's not surprised? How much money Lisa saved.
Yeah, I've not seen it. But I heard good things about it. I think isn't like Amy Adams the voice?
Yeah. No, it's
Siri?
Scarlett Johansson, Morgan.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just weird.
Are you
But
wearing a Dare?
Huh?
Are you wearing a Dare shirt?
Keep kids off drugs, bud. Woohoo. What's funny about it? This is a great shirt.
Man, Dare was the best.
Yeah. The Dare Bear.
I remember I won second place because I started off my essay as life is like a box of chocolates, and then I went into something about heroin, and they gave me second place. I was like 8 years old. It was great.
Life is like
Um,
heroin.
Yeah, life is like a box of chocolates. Don't do heroin. So won second place that year.
Because you never know what kind of heroin you're going to get.
Yeah,
No,
life's like a box of chocolates. You never know if there's fentanyl inside.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
What are we
getting
talking about
derailed here.
other than Dare and heroin?
I don't know how we went from horror movies to Jonathan Brandis to heroin. Oh yeah.
It all ties together with Joaquin Phoenix.
The 7 degrees of Joaquin Phoenix.
So but yeah, I mean so we had some pretty cool movies come out this year, and we were just talking about It and the original Loser Clubs reprising their roles as the kids, in their 40s. Yeah, another movie that did really successful this year, everyone's talking about it, is Get Out. It's not only a horror movie, but it's also a
Comedy.
comedy.
Apparently, it's a fucking comedy. Does anybody know who actually said that?
It was the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes has it nominated for Best Comedy,
It's
which
fucking ridiculous.
because they have the Golden Globes. Let's look at the Golden Globes. They're not with the Times right now. The Times, by me saying that, is the times where big ceremony award shows don't recognize horror yet. So the only two categories they have is drama and comedy. And since they don't want to put Get Out in drama, so there's other big movies there, they're going to put Get Out in comedy and see how well that work out. I don't know why it's in comedy. Like the TSA guy, his friend,
He was fucking funny, though.
yeah, he was real funny. But the whole movie wasn't about the TSA guy.
No. I wonder if it has anything because they're like, ooh, Jordan Peele directed this. Maybe it's a comedy. Like, really?
That's what I was thinking. It's comedy.
I saw like, some people involved. I don't know people. I'm just gonna not talk.
Well, those who are wondering what Morgan said some people were involved. I don't know what that means, but thank you, Morgan. You did it great. I don't know what's going on. I can't tell if she's upset with me or now I got her frozen. Okay.
It's her Wi-Fi.
The wifey. But yeah, so I know Get Out did really fucking well.
Not as well as it, but yeah, it was a surprising movie too.
Yeah. And you know what? That's kind of what this year was. This year was about like really surprising movies. I know you guys hated this movie. I loved it. I thought The Devil's Candy was fucking awesome.
What a piece of shit.
It was, you know, it was fun. It was.
Throw in the
Wait,
devil.
what movie?
Throw in the devil. Throw in some Metallica. We have a horror movie.
Like I liked it. The best part of the movie was the end, though.
What a piece of shit. No, Jared hated that movie. I didn't see it.
I did not really like it. I mean, Ethan Embry did a really good job as the dad in the movie, and it just it felt flat for me. And it had the rolly-eyed guy. I don't know his name, so I sound bad by saying that, but the guy with his eyes is always moving.
Mm-hmm. When did Ethan Embry get muscles and a hairline?
He definitely didn't have him when he was in Empire.
What movie are y'all talking about?
After Cameron,
The Devil's Candy.
Well, we got to go on Morgan's
I don't
time
even
right
know
now.
what that is. What the heck?
We got to go on Morgan's timer now. She's using dial-up, so currently she's thinking that we're talking about Jonathan Brandis. So, you know,
actually faxing us right now.
But yeah, no, a Rick Clark, Jason versus Michael Myers movie is coming soon.
The Devil's Candy is a 2015 movie.
It is, but it wasn't released on Netflix till 2017.
Oh, no, it's United States, March 2017. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, the public, including us, Netflix and chill people, you know, not the Netflix and chill where we invite random people to our house and watch 5 minutes of Netflix and like totally bang out.
That's my goal for 2018 is to do that 7 times.
Why just 7?
It's gonna be a
Why not 8?
8's too many.
I mean, it was an okay movie. I just feel like I'm in the minority because it's gotten a lot of praise. It felt like a pretty straightforward movie that didn't have much to do with the devil.
Like the Elevator movie.
Yeah.
What's going on, Morgan?
She's upset because of her dial-up internet.
I'm trying to
She
tweet,
just found
so I
out that
set my
Jonathan
phone
Brandis died.
down because I
She's
can't
running-
hold it and type at the same time.
She's running tech support.
Got ya. Well, thank you very much, Mario, for running our tech support.
What? Did you say
Yes.
I'm trying to text a boy?
Another one from Rick Clark. They trashed the new Friday the 13th movie that was just come out. Yes, Rick Clark, they did, and they fucked up because this was before they released the Friday the 13th, the video game.
Yep.
And they depended on the success of Rings. Rings was another movie that was on the list of the top 2017 movies.
Oh, I thought we decided that was a disappointment since it fucked up the potential for another Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, no, it's exactly what it did. That's why we're not talking
Definitely a
about
disappointment.
in particular. Yeah, no, the Ring's done fucked up. Um, you know, people are very unhappy with the Rings because, we didn't want a sequel to the Ring. There wasn't
Yeah, I didn't
needed.
want a sequel to The Ring. The second one was terrible.
Yeah. Well, I did. You know what? I did really appreciate the deer scene because it kind of reminded me of the same graphics from the Phantom Menace when they were pod racing,
Stop.
but it was kind of like with the deer running into the car. I think there was a Jabba the Hutt sitting somewhere in the woods cheering them on.
Looking off those things off the ledge.
Yeah.
And there, and the little boy was supposed to be the announcer, but.
But
God.
but yeah, no, so it was stupid, and it pissed us off when we found out that Paramount was depending on the success of Rings to budget and create Friday the 13th, which would have been
Which, as a
continuation.
franchise, Ring has no clout compared to Friday the 13th. So
Well,
they're
yeah,
fucking
not at all.
stupid.
Even in the 80s, the Friday the 13th franchise as a whole made more money than any of the Rings movies. So, I mean, there's that.
You done fucked up, Paramount.
Well, they know it.
But
Well, the thing that
yeah.
bothers me, let me say something about this. One of the things that bothers me is they're basing it off of a different kind of movie, and I think they thought maybe horror is dead, and then it comes along a couple months later and just annihilates everybody's thoughts of horror being something that can't make money.
Right. Yeah. The expectations of the genre.
Yeah, I think that's honestly, I think it may have changed that.
I really hope so.
Yeah, so that's good because with that, I thought this was a good year for horror overall. Even some of the oldies but goodies got to come back, like Chucky, and have a decent movie.
Yeah.
Because before the Curse of Chucky, I considered the Chucky movies to be dead after the garbage that had come out before it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yeah, I think the studio underestimated the power of horror.
Look, it's Chad's dad.
And it's a shame because, like you were saying, it did a fantastic job. And not only did it bring in old school horror fans, but it brought in the rest of the fucking public.
Yeah.
Which is
Generation.
phenomenal.
So,
People, and we talked about this before where the diehard horror fans were like, it wasn't scary. But they appreciated and respected the film because of the money that it made and that all the focus it brought back to horror and it brought horror mainstream back into the focus of the general public.
yeah, I still wonder how much of that has to do with your generation of fandom being, like growing up with the original series, not necessarily the movie, the television series from 1980, because. You talked highly of it. I didn't care for it. I had to watch it again before I decided I liked it.
Well, the thing with the original It series on ABC was that when it was about the children, they knocked it out of the park. Like it was entertaining. Yeah. It fit the criteria for ABC, but also it raised the bar. It was kind of like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks comes out, people are like, what the hell is this show about? And it just raises the bar of drama. Where Stephen King's It raises the bar on horror miniseries on ABC. And, not saying this is the first time this was done. That was, of course, with Salem's Lot. They kind of, Tobe Hooper kind of did the same thing. But
Salem's Lot's way better than...
It is.
Well, yeah, Salem's Lot's fucking scary. Yeah. Where it's like, oh my God, Tim Curry is a creepy ass clown. And I think part of the problem, or I think part of the reason why it's so successful, I don't think it was necessarily the millennial generation, or but I think that it was Tim Curry himself, and the guy's been. you know, the guy's been in movies for years. Started with Rocky Horror Picture Show and Legend, and of course, the movie that
Clue.
made him super famous, Muppet Treasure Island. But I think that also was a big factor. People saw Pennywise the Clown, Tim Curry's Pennywise the Clown, and you know, and then, you know, they went back to the '90s movie, and you know, it's just a household name.
Yeah, there's another thing I wonder about with the success of it. I wonder if DVD Blu-ray sales went up because of the success of the new movie for the old movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder how many people went out and got. I know my brother-in-law did. He went out and bought the miniseries on Blu-ray after you know, seeing it in the theater, and just.
I don't know. It might have.
Yeah, I mean, I already had it, but I ended up buying the Blu-ray because the DVD looked like trash.
Yeah, it might have, because I remember when it was like free on all the streaming sites, and then when they announced that it was going to be remade, they took it down off of all the free streaming sites and only made it available for rent or purchase.
Yeah.
So that was kind of their cash grab on that. But fuck it, why not, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to want to when you can, you know, and they did.
So would we all feel comfortable saying that Stephen King's It's probably the best of 2017?
It's one of them. I didn't get to see it all, so I can't really comment. I had to leave the theater.
Yeah.
The lady
I feel comfortable saying it's the best for horror in 2017. Like, just what,
like the general public,
the future can hold in a mainstream. I think that alone should make it the best of 2017. It's not my favorite film of 2017, but that's another story.
No, I can agree with that. It definitely, you know, $650 million speaks a whole fucking lot about what a movie can do, and especially a horror movie. Like you said, Ray, that's Marvel movie. That's Marvel money movie right there, which is really absolutely crazy.
It really is like Marvel money. I mean, you think about how much some of these Marvel movies didn't even make that much, as much as it did. I mean, you think about movies like Ant-Man and some of the lesser-known ones, even the first Thor movie didn't make that much. I don't think Justice League has made that much money compared to it. So, I mean, that's got to speak, you know, a lot. Because Justice League should have been a bigger movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it is what it is with the comic book movies. I mean, that's your other half, Ray. That's the second half of your life, is the comic book guy who makes comic books.
Yeah, but my point is the comic book movies always make, you know, a ton of money, and it is right up there. It's one of the top grossing movies of the year, I believe.
Yeah,
which says a lot. And the thing that blows my mind about it's a horror movie. It's not even like, I had seen arguments online that it's not a horror movie. I'm like, who the fuck is saying that movie is not a horror movie?
It's one of those post-horror movies.
Oh, it's a post-horror movie. That was a big thing. Well, it tried to be a big thing in 2017.
Yeah.
Post-horror.
Some douchebag making up his own subgenre.
I'm so glad that phrase is over with, post-horror, because it was over fast. Because of it and everything, you know, we realize that horror is not. There's nothing post-horror anymore. Horror is still alive and well. You know, there's just countless shows about horror, and you know, this year alone did really well. Like, Get Out already has Oscar nods, and already people are talking about how Get Out is not a horror movie, and I'm like, shut the fuck up! Like, you guys bitched about Silence of the Lambs. Let Get Out be a horror movie and let it go for fucking Academy Awards. Like, just shut the fuck up.
Do you even know horror, bro?
Huh?
It's like, do you even know horror, bro? Not you, but
yeah.
It's horror. It's like,
do you even horror, bro?
Yeah. Because it's ridiculous, some of the things that are being called not horror. Now, I had a segment on the site for a while called Is It Horror? And, I mean, it's clear Get Out is a horror movie. Because if you watch that and you didn't feel a little terrified, then there's something definitely wrong with you. You know, I mean, the whole situation the dude was in, it was terrifying. You know, he
Fucked
just
up situation.
he just went to meet his girlfriend's parents, and they had this whole fucking ring set up. You know,
Uh-huh.
it was fucked up.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And you know what?
Great comedy.
I can't believe. But yeah, no, I mean, it absolutely was a fucked up movie. And you know what? Not only is it like huge for us horror fans, but look at Black American media. Like, this is huge. This is like, you know, this is a big important message out there about the way that that Black Americans are perceived in movies, and it kind of is a great example of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah.
Meets Clockwork Orange, kind of meets like the Twilight Zone, and it absolutely is an important message, especially for the times that we're living in. And that's why Get Out is doing phenomenally well, especially for someone who's been doing comedy segments for a few years now.
And it was a pretty low budget film. It was a Blumhouse production, so I think it was done for less than $4 million, probably.
Yeah, I think isn't there budget like $3 million, like every movie?
Yeah, Jason Blum kind of varies, but I mean, he likes to keep everything under 5 if he can.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes some great movies doing that.
He does.
That's again going back to Paramount. It's, you know, you don't need to blow your wad on money in order to make a good movie. Apparently, you know.
Yeah.
Because Blumhouse has been doing it for like 10 years, making good horror movies without spending a shit ton of money. I mean, a good horror movie like Insidious and what was the other
Conjuring.
one we did? Conjuring. No, what was there was one more. Sinister. Is that a Blumhouse movie?
I think so.
Anyway,
He also did the Purge movies.
Yeah, those movies cost less than $5 million, and they're making $90 million to $150 million in the theater. That's how you do it. You don't need to, you know, spend 30, 40, 50 million dollars on a movie, especially a horror movie. You don't have to cast like for let's go back to Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't need superstar actors to milk the budget for a horror movie. You know, like you can get decent actors, or even not. You don't need it for Friday the 13th. You need, you know, big actors that are great. Give me the biggest name actor in the first 8 Friday the 13th movies. It's probably Betsy Palmer, right?
Kevin Bacon.
You can't say Kevin Bacon because he wasn't at the time.
No.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about at the time. I mean, she
At
was
the time.
a star. Maybe Ted White, but he was a stuntman. You know, there's really no one that was big until post Friday the 13th, because like Crispin Glover became big. You know, Corey Feldman, but none of them were known or big at the time of the movies, and those movies made a lot of money. I mean, they were making like $1 million, you know, back in the 80s, and they were making $25 million a year or film. And that's, you know, that's why Blumhouse is so successful, because they kind of have that idea that you can make Friday the 13th should just, I wish that Blumhouse would buy them like Halloween, you know, because I guarantee they'll make a good movie, and though they won't spend a ton of money on it. Friday the 13th doesn't need it to be made for $30 million.
No, God, no. Oh, and you know what? What's his name? Vincent.
That might have been their budget. Was $30 million for Friday. I can't remember. I could be wrong.
What is the director's name that made Never Hike Alone? Vincent
D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio. But
You're talking about the fan film?
Yeah, he made a fan film.
Yeah.
And, you know, all you need is Tom Matthews to come back as Tommy Jarvis. That's all you need for a Friday the 13th movie. I think that if you had Tom Matthews come back as Tommy Jarvis.
Oh my God, is that a dead body?
I mean, the games did it right. And, you know, I was going to mention it later, but our honorable mention for tonight is Friday the 13th, the video game, and how it brought back.
It reinvigorated the genre. I mean, not horror, but slasher genre for me. I mean, that's what I was telling Brian before we started the show, was I felt bad because I'm really behind on current horror movies, because playing Friday the 13th, the game on the Xbox and PS4, I really kind of rediscovered my love. Sorry about the kids in the background. For the slasher genre, and it was because of Friday the 13th. I have a feeling we're going to see more slasher horror movies. I'm going to go whoop my kid's ass.
But yeah, no, I mean, if it wasn't for Friday the 13th, we would, the video game, we would just be where we were at before, when The Rings was the golden goose to rely on for the Friday the 13th sequel that was never made. And it's a shame, because if they would have waited, Paramount would have waited, and we've mentioned this on our show before. Paramount would have waited. We would have had a Friday the 13th movie, because of the success of the video game, and that may change. It may absolutely change, and they just released offline bot mode, which, if you're afraid to play online with other players, you can play by yourself, and it's just as fun. You play as Jason. You don't have to play any of the counselors or anything like that, and
you get to hone your Jason skills.
Yeah, and they just announced Uber Jason X, as a playable character in the video game. He will be available very soon. I believe there is a roadmap of everything. I think he's going to be available before Christmas. But for those who do not like Jason X, surprisingly, for a lot of people who don't like Jason X, everyone's really excited to play as Uber Jason.
It's because his fucking outfit is badass.
Yeah. He's Jason on crack. He's got the red eyes. He's just diabolical. He's in space. So that means whoever's in space is fucked. But then again, he's also fucked if he gets shot into orbit. I mean, he'll be alive, but for how long?
Till he's frozen solid in deep space.
So, but while we're here, you and me, Jared, let's talk about one of our favorite movies of the year.
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
I know which one you're talking about.
We're going to talk about Darren Aronofsky's Mother, which is a horror movie, or a horror adaptation on the Bible. A lot of people, when Mother came out, were like, fuck this movie. I don't know what this movie's about. It's bullshit. It sucks. Blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it definitely deserves a lot of more credit than what it's actually been getting. At least in my opinion.
I agree. And after watching it, and I just watched it last night, so it's really fresh in my mind. I think a lot of the people that may have not liked it may not have completely understood it. It's a very multi-layered horror film. It's a slow burn. Like, there's not a whole lot going on for the first hour. Last 35 minutes is a fucking whirlwind mindfuck.
No, it absolutely is.
That would be the best description of it. It's a whirlwind mindfuck. And for people who don't know Darren Aronofsky, he's mostly a cult filmmaker. The most popular films he's done is probably Noah or Black Swan. But, I mean, he's done Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain.
Yes.
My personal favorite, Pi. Like, I follow Darren Aronofsky's films about as closely as I follow Nicholas Winding Refn's films.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this entry, like, I mean, some would call Black Swan kind of a horror film, but it was more of a dramatic thriller. This felt like a real horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, horrific in theme, horrific in visuals, and I don't know. I'm still like kind of taking it all in and processing what we saw, but there is so much going on in Mother that you cannot take it all in one fucking viewing.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's terrifying. It had a lot of scary scenes. Cinematically, it was terrifying. It was beautiful. It's just, it was devastating to see that you're like, why do I feel for this woman so much? Why don't I know her name? And then you find out the end, you pretty much knew her name the entire time. You pretty much knew Javier Bardem's character's name the entire time. It doesn't, they don't have to tell you their name. You know who it is by putting all the clues together and everything. And, it was just that movie that really surprised the shit out of me. It's one of those movies where you cannot listen to people and what they say about it. Because 9 out of 10 people told me that Mother was awful. And I had to see it for myself to say, holy shit, this is a really good movie. It stuck with me. It stuck with me like the Devil's Candy stuck with me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think the Devil's Candy stuck with me a lot more than Mother, only because of the father-daughter relationship and the heavy metal music. But but Mother stood with me for a little while after that. One of the other movies that was really cool that came out this year was I don't know if you've seen it, was Death Note. Was Adam Wingard.
Yeah. I've seen the anime, but I haven't seen the actual movie yet.
That's another movie where you cannot listen to people. People are going to talk shit about that movie. They're going to say, oh, it was nothing like the manga. It was nothing like the anime. Death Note movie sucks. And Adam Wingard got a lot of shit for it. He even deleted social media.
Yeah, he deactivated his Twitter because he was tired of hearing shit.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fault the guy for trying to put an entire series into one fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like a lot of people were complaining about the love interests and everything. I've never watched the anime, but I know where the fans are coming from, because I know what it's like to have a franchise such as Resident Evil get turned into movies, and the movies suck.
Yeah,
I get that. Everyone here knows that. But but I felt like Death Note was not a terrible movie. It's actually one of my top 5 favorite movies of this year. Because it had an awesome soundtrack. It had a lot of synthwave.
It did. It did.
It had a lot of 80s songs in it. And Jared, you and I share the same love for synthwave and 80s. If we could just wear trench coats and hold boomboxes over our heads, playing fucking The Midnight or Perturbator, we would have a great time. But that's not how reality works. But we live vicariously through these movies and movie scores. Now, that being said, a lot of people fucking hated Death Note.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me, just from fanboy perspective. I mean, nobody's ever fucking pleased these days. Kind of doesn't surprise me, but I'm glad you liked it, because I still need to watch it. So, I mean, your seal of approval is more than enough for me to want to watch it.
Well, I've also been a huge fan of You're Next and The Guest. Those movies are spitting images of synthwave scores with horror elements to it. And synthwave is a huge genre nowadays, and it's continuously growing. And it all started with, You're Next. Simon Barrett and Adam Wingard did a fucking amazing job with You're Next. And The Guest was just a wild fucking ride.
Yep.
I believe both are on Netflix. Those who are watching, please watch You're Next and The Guest. And you'll kind of understand where Death Note is coming from. But everyone's probably watching this right now saying, fuck you, Brian, for liking Death Note, you traitor. I've never seen the anime, so... Don't judge me.
He comes from a more pure place, guys. He comes from a more pure place.
I mean, I will say, though, I was not a fan of The Blair Witch.
See, I hadn't seen that, and I wasn't going to jump right out to see it either.
No. It was cool. You know what it was? It was a retelling of the original Blair Witch Project, but with modern technology.
Yeah,
and it just seemed like they went the same route. They built it up like it was going somewhere else, but ultimately it went the same route, which kind of sucked. But what are you gonna do? It wasn't their finest movie, but it was made. you know, but I'm really excited because it had a different title. It was called The Woods, and I know that there's another movie coming out that had a different title, and it was just released as Victor Crowley, the
Yeah.
fourth movie to the Hatchet series, which will be something to look out for the next year.
As always, Kane Hodder is reprising his role as the ugly motherfucker that kills people. Yeah.
Now, you know what? I gotta say, I've only watched half of Hatchet 1. I never saw the second one or the third one.
The body count rises in every single one of them. And the third one was barely watchable.
Really?
I mean, I dig Adam. It's Adam Smith, right?
Adam Green.
Green. Yeah. I like this TV show actually quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, if we're gonna go off topic a little bit, since we're talking about his movies, his movie Frozen, not to be confused with the Disney film, is probably his best film.
My wife loves that movie. That's the movie where they're on the ski lift and it breaks down and they get eaten by wolves, right? Is that the movie? Spoiler alert.
Yep.
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
They get stuck on a ski lift and everybody shuts the lights off on them.
I meant wrong movie. Frozen is the movie where people's dicks get eaten off by a girl's vagina that has teeth. That's the movie. Frozen. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited with a couple of movies. I know one of our friends here at the Horror Syndicate, Mike Lombardo, has been getting rave reviews on his movie I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I know you did a review on it, Jared.
Yep.
You were a huge fan of it.
I loved it.
Would you say it's up there with like the underdog movies of 2017?
I think it is, for how little of a budget it really had and for the effect it left with me after viewing it. It doesn't quite make my top 5, but it is one of the better movies I've seen in a long time, and I'm not being biased because I know Mike. He's a great guy, but he's been working on this project for all over 2 years, and it really shows through. Like, it's not a strict horror film, so to speak, but it is a dramatic expose of how horrific life can be at the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it in reviews before. Sometimes, like, the unknown is scarier than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Movies I'm not looking forward to seeing is Jeepers Creepers 3, which is probably, in my opinion, judging by everyone who the hype of it, of course, the controversy of the people who were not supporting this movie at all during the what's happened to child actor Nathan Forrest Winters and a director Victor Salva, and there's been a lot of backlash on it. A lot of people like myself have not seen the movie. One of those reasons being because I don't necessarily believe that someone like Victor Salva should have been getting work. I'm glad that people saw the movie to support the actors who were in the movie, because growing up being in this industry where you're an actor and you're trying to make it in this industry, you need all the exposure you can get. And people have been fighting with me saying that, how come you're sticking up for the actors? They knew what he did. Why are you sticking up for them? And it's the same reason why people are fans of Justin Long, because he did the first Jeepers Creepers. It's the same reason why people still watch Disney movies, because a lot of stuff happened behind the scenes in Disney movies and Buena Vista Pictures, but people still buy these movies and see them. And if you start telling people to boycott Disney, they're gonna tell you to fuck off. So the movie Jeepers Creepers my ultimate decision on this, it should have never been made. None of them should have been made, especially with the history of Victor Salva. He should have been in jail. There's no way these movies should have been fucking made, but they're made and they're here. And and fortunately enough, people didn't care about Jeepers Creepers 3 because when they saw it in theaters, when they saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel, they're like, this movie fucking sucks. Like, this is like the worst movie I've ever seen. And it's kind of a relief because it's, it's kind of like, it's a double hitter. People don't want to see this movie because of what has happened with Victor Salva's past, but they also don't want to see this movie because it fucking sucks. So that has to be my number one disappointment of 2017. So Jeepers Creepers 3, fuck off. How did you feel about that movie?
I was actually giving a screener press pass to see it in the theater the only night it was in fucking theaters, which was probably genius by the guys that did the fucking movie, because once everybody saw it, they're like, don't go fucking see this movie. So they had a one night premiere everywhere. Like, I wrote a review for it and I didn't lay into it probably as I should have. I touched on some of the nice parts. Meg Foster did a really good job in the movie. It had some good kills, but it felt like a sci-fi movie. It was not really that good. It wasn't that engaging. And when you think about the second movie that came out in 2003, we wait 14 years for this pile of fucking steaming bullshit.
Yeah,
and I'm with Brian. I mean, what the guy has been accused of and has been documented as of happening is deplorable. I don't agree with any of it, but I mean, you still can watch the movie from a different perspective because of the people who worked on it, not just what the director has done in the past. I mean, people still watch Roman Polanski films. People still watch
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen, exactly. Yeah, good point.
He's still making fucking movies.
Yeah. I mean,
and look at all the people I've worked with him. Like, look at all the A-list celebrities that worked in the movie. But go ahead, continue.
I was very disappointed. I liked the first two movies. When the first two movies came out, I was 2001. I would have been a senior in high school. I had no fucking idea what Victor Salva was. I knew he directed Powder.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's doing a horror movie. Okay, that's fucking cool. And it was effective. It was good. It was a really good fucking horror movie. Then the second one was okay, had a bigger body count. And then this one happened, and it was like, why? Like,
yeah.
I think in my review I said is like they spent 14 years trying to work on this, and it felt like they had so many things they wanted to talk about and wanted to do in this movie. It just felt like they touched on some things and didn't do anything right. Like, it's like you're second guessing yourself for 14 years and then nothing comes out the way you really want it to.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was for the best that all this happened. That, people just didn't like this movie. I'm glad. And
maybe
I'm happy.
Maybe it's karma. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I listened to an interview, one of the podcasts I listened to, Without Your Head, Horror. They were interviewing Nathan Forrest Winters about everything, and it's really fucked up. They said that Nathan Forrest Winters was, doing this movie, and everything happened. And Victor told him that if you say anything to anyone about this, your career is over. And look at what Hollywood did to him. They condemned this kid as being hard to work with, is what they used in the saying, is hard to work with, extremely difficult to work with. And this kid, at the time when he was a kid, never got another role again. Right. Victor Salva went to jail. Okay. Victor Salva serves like 18 months in jail. Comes out and directs fucking Powder.
Yep.
And this kid,
one of the best movies of that year.
Yeah. And this and Nathan Forrest Winters his dream of being an actor is fucking gone. And Victor Salva makes Powder, and then goes on and makes more movies and makes Jeepers Creepers. And this is before the internet it became popular and everything. And this is before everyone knew about the the rest of the world knew about the allegation. Of course, people in Hollywood knew about the about everything that has happened. Not even allegations. This is on file now, and they see that Victor Salva is this huge piece of shit, and he still gets work. And the thing about the Hollywood industry is if you make a movie and your movie sells, you're going to continue getting work. That's the bottom line. And it fucking sucks.
It does suck. And the sad thing is I feel like that line has been used more than once in the Harvey Weinstein office.
Unfortunately. And you know what sucks? That the Weinstein Company has been making really great horror movies for years. Isn't Dimension Studios their company as well? I don't know.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know.
I think it's a division of Miramax. Yeah.
Yeah. So Miramax, they of course they made the Hellraiser movies. And they have the license over the Hellraiser movies, and it's really a shame because we have all of these horror movies and from horror companies, and we have these people who are just nasty fucking people, and they're ruining it for everybody. And it sucks because it's like, not only are these movies not getting made, but also the people that are working their blood, sweat, and tears in these movies are just, their lives are getting destroyed. And, and one of the biggest things was Asia Argento, coming out and saying that Harvey Weinstein raped her.
Yeah.
Like, Asia Argento is like one of the biggest names in horror because her father is the Godfather or the Wizard of Gore. And I can't imagine the stress of that just happening.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what do you do in that situation when your father's this famous director and, this producer, this executive producer gets away with this fucking bullshit? I know we're talking about movies of 2017, but this is also a huge issue.
It is. It was surrounding, it's 2017. This is an issue right now. And it's really good that this issue is coming to light because it's, all the girls who have gone through the Me Too movement. I mean, it's giving them a voice to finally actually speak out because it's, this shit's been going on for years. Like,
yeah. And I'm thank God for the internet. Thank God that all the victims have this massive support system that social media has to offer.
Oh yeah.
And people are still in fucking denial, but I'm glad that we're moving on from this. I'm glad that names are being brought to the spotlight, and I'm glad that people like Harvey Weinstein is now the perfect candidate of how someone should be treated once they're brought to the spotlight for so many years of fucking bullshit that they've done to ruin people's lives. Like, this is the fucking poster child, and this is the example of what we should set to people who do this kind of shit. And not only that, it probably delays horror movies too. I know that Amityville Awakening took years till it got released, and it finally got released in the theaters, and I think it made like $750.
Jesus.
I have not seen that one. I wish Ray was here. He said that it was like a generic horror movie, like a ghost story. Which I like the Amityville movies. Amityville 1 and 2 were probably my favorite. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta see Amityville Awakening, but I heard that was a big disappointment this year as well. But I guess that's what happens when you only show in a few theaters on one night. You make $700. So, but it is what it is. Those who are watching on Facebook right now, please tell us what you're drinking.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm drinking Dugan's Irish Cream Liquor. It was suggested to me at the liquor store. I like to think that grandfather Uh,
Is
from
it
the
Bailey's?
Texas-
Is it Bailey's younger brother?
It's Bailey's grandfather who lives in Texas and eats teenagers alive. It's Dugan's Irish Cream Liquor. I like to give a shout out to my one of my favorite actors of all time, John Dugan. Cheers! Our only guest ever
John!
on.
He's probably drinking. He's probably drinking somewhere. So I mean, he cheers you.
I hope he's thinking about me. Love you, John.
Hey guys,
Hey,
I'm
wait.
back.
Hey,
Sorry.
hey! I'm glad you came back because I have to pee. So bye.
Did I miss
We
anything?
were-
I guess Morgan left.
We were talking about the Amityville Awakening. How did you feel about that movie? Was it the disappointment of the year?
No.
No.
I don't see why it was delayed for so long. I'm confused at why it got delayed. I think I saw the first trailer in 2014, and it was supposed to be out in January 2015, and it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was somewhere in between. There were things I liked about it. For instance, did you ever see the 2014 The Town That Dreaded Sundown?
Yeah. That's not. It's not even a remake. It's a continuation, right?
It's like the events that happen in the movie of the Town That Dreaded Sundown. Like they made a movie about the events that happened, and the events really happened in this remake, but the movie also exists within that world of the remake. And they did the same thing with the Amityville Awakening, where at one point the girl who moves into 112 Ocean Avenue, her friends, like she goes to school, she's new at the school, and one of the guys is like, "It's not you, it's the house. Everybody knows you live in that house." And she's like, "What's with the house?" And he's like, "You never seen the Amityville Horror?" And he's like, "Here's the DVD," and they watch the DVD at one point. I actually like that. I thought that was kind of cool that it's so rather than, and the director said rather than remaking the movie, they wanted to make it without remaking it. They did that, which I thought was kind of fun. They also make fun of the remake with Ryan Reynolds, which was awful. Then they acknowledged the second one, which I like the second one, The Possession. I may watch that this evening. I really like that movie.
Yeah.
It was okay. Excuse me. There's some good performances, I'd say. Jennifer Jason Leigh played the mom, and she was pretty good. You didn't know what was going on in her brain in the movie. The guy who plays the brother in the bed, it was Dominic. Was it Dominic? Is that his name? He plays the Joker in Gotham. And then he was really good. And then that Bella Thorne girl, she was pretty good. She's actually a pretty good actress overall. So
Yeah.
I liked it, but it was just your kind of run-of-the-mill ghost story, haunting story, But there were some fun moments that kind of like shoot back to the old Amityville movies, and it was okay. It was like a 6. I'm gonna probably write a review on that. And Leatherface was garbage.
Leatherface was your biggest disappointment of the year?
No, my biggest disappointment of the year is probably Rings. But like, no, I say that because I like the first movie. The second movie is okay, but I didn't make it through Rings. I made it through Leatherface.
Yeah.
Leatherface. I told Jared it was a stupid movie. It was just stupid. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. They tried to play Leatherface's origins in the movie, and there's a twist, which honestly I didn't see the twist coming, which is rare because I look for twists in stories. Being a writer, but it was stupid. It was a stupid movie with stupid characters in it.
Was it
Was it what?
the 3D one?
Was it better than that one?
Was it worse than it?
I don't understand the question because they both suck. No, it wasn't worse than the Texas Chainsaw 3D. That movie was fucking terrible. It was just they spend. I think the movie is 127 minutes. They spend 120 minutes on this bullshit backstory origin that some of it reminds me of The Devil's Rejects, because there's a cop out for revenge, Stephen Dorff's character.
Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
The movie's 2 hours?
No. I'm sorry, not minutes. An hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, they spend too much time on that, and then there's an insane asylum where these people break out, and the two of the characters are garbage people that you don't care about. You don't care about the characters. It's just not a good movie. The only redeeming factor of Texas Chainsaw 3D is that Alexandra Daddario
and her boobs.
Yeah, well, she didn't show them, but there's that scene where she's chained up and the shirt's like open and you can see him flop around. So that's nice.
Yep. And that rivals Jessica Biel's boobs.
No, it surpasses.
Surpasses? Yeah.
Oh gosh, so much hotter than Jessica.
That's what I was gonna. I was actually going to allude to that when you said that. I was like, is it even better than Alexander Daddario's boobs? Because that was like the best character of that movie.
Yeah. So the thing about now, I'm going to redo the Texas Chainsaw list, ranked list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's a new movie to add to it, and I feel that. See, you talked about the Next Generation. And I said it's like a bag of cats. It's out of control. Or bag
of kittens.
I feel like it was made to be that way. And there are some things. It's a bad movie, but there's a lot of things about it that I like. Matthew
McConaughey is actually not bad in that movie.
Not bad, and he saves that whole movie if there is any way to save it. But I don't know. I think I made a list of ranked. That's probably still the worst one.
You know what? You know what's good about that one though? They have like a Grindhouse trailer that they released of it, like the same the year that they released the trailer, and it has
Next Generation.
Next Generation. It has like the grain, and it has the film look, and it has like the 70s sound, and it has like the 70s like titles, and that would have been really cool if they would have kept the movie like that.
Yeah, with the Texas Chainsaw, I don't know why you wouldn't kind of give it that Grindhouse feel. I mean, that's the original right there. It was had that complete Grindhouse feel.
Grainy film.
Exactly. A friend of mine,
Smoke rings.
Frankie Carter, was like, he came over and I had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Blu-ray playing. He's like, I can't get into this. It just, part of the appeal to that movie was the grain effect and how shitty quality. And then I put on Evil Dead. He said the same thing about Evil Dead. The low budget look of the filming of the movie really helps it. And Leatherface probably would have been better that way if it was more low budget. I think not a found footage Leatherface movie, but a movie that was like shaky cam and Leatherface could have been a lot better if it was filmed differently. I think, even with the same performances. If you're a fan, you should watch it anyway. Texas.
Yep, I intend to, but damn it, Stephen Dorff.
His character's such a piece of shit. He's a shit character. It's like, come on, we've seen this too many times. Cop out for revenge. Come on, brah. So yeah, I prefer the Amityville Awakening of the old franchises. I prefer that to that, but Cult of Chucky's way better than both of them. So.
It's got to be like the 27th Amityville movie. Like, how many of them have there been?
There's like 20. You're right. I mean, look. Brian, were you going to say something about? Did we talk? I missed a little bit. Sorry. The Cult of Chucky. Did we talk about that at all?
A little bit. Jared and I were talking earlier.
I hadn't seen it, so I didn't have much to say.
Oh, Jared, come on. That's a good one.
It's kind of, if you watched Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky back to back, I feel like it's a lot more enjoyable because they run off of each other very closely.
They do.
And I feel like there's like two different parts of the Chucky timeline. I feel like there's 1, 2, 3, and then I feel like there's Bride, Seed, Curse, and Cult, or like are there all their own movies?
15 Amityville movies. Brian, there's something that should be said about the there's the original trilogy 1 through 3, which even 3 almost feels kind of like a departure from the first 2 because it takes place years later with Andy being older. But then of course there's the Bride of and Seed of Chucky, which is awful. And then they got it back with Curse and Cult. I hope they make another Chucky movie because the last 2 have been. I hated the Chucky movies after they made the Seed of Chucky, and the Curse brought me back, and Cult just makes me want more. And I don't care how many they make. Based on the way this one was made, I don't want to spoil it. They could make these forever. So
it looked like Don Mancini had like full creative control.
I think so.
This time around.
Well, go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, if the first 3 movies, you could tell that there was like restrictions from the bigger budget
Ronnie
studios.
The Bride of Chucky, the guy did Freddy versus Jason.
Mm-hmm.
What a dog shit director.
What is his name? Ronnie Yu?
Ronnie Yu, yeah. What a piece of shit. He should never touch a horror film. But with the Chucky, there's one thing. I had a theory about Chucky's longevity. And it's wrong, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. My theory was after part 2, do you remember part 2, Jared, where Chucky dies and
he dies in the power plant, right? Or in the warehouse?
Yeah, so okay, at the beginning of part 3, they take the melted together Chucky and put him into the thing, and it spins and you see his blood spinning. So my theory was that produced multiple Chuckies, so there are Chuckies, which is wrong. I thought that would have been a great story, though, is there's Chuckies everywhere because when they redistributed the doll. But
that would have been probably fucking cooler than what.
I mean, I'm a writer.
Where were you when they wrote Chucky 3? God damn it!
Think about it. His blood gets mixed with all of that, all that plastic.
Right.
Why part of him be in it? But that was my whole theory because at the end of the Curse of Chucky, you saw that one, right?
No, that's the only reason I didn't watch Cult of Chucky because I haven't seen anything past Seed.
I don't want to. Yeah, you definitely need to sit down and watch Curse and Cult like back to back.
Yeah,
that's
what Brian was saying.
Hell yeah, man! You'll get right back into wanting to watch the first 3. I went back after watching the Curse of Chucky and watched the first 3 again, and I'm like, you know what? These are actually good fucking movies. They're not just bullshit doll killer movies. These are actually really good movies. I mean, the first movie alone was fantastic.
Hell yeah!
Getting a kid to go kill all his enemies, and and Maggie was a bitch or whatever. It was a good movie.
What movie was this?
The first Child's Play.
Oh yeah, the first Child's Play was fucking awesome. I remember watching that all the time, and Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs. For some reason, those movies were always like played back to back for me in the '90s. That and Pet Sematary.
Yeah, Pet Sematary. I'm surprised we're not doing a looking to 2018. I guess maybe we'll do that at the beginning of the year, looking at horror in 2018, because I think Pet Sematary comes out in 2018 along with that Halloween movie. Most anticipated of 2018 we could do.
Yeah,
which
Jared and I were talking earlier about Victor Crowley coming out and how excited we were for that.
You're excited about that? Those movies are so bad. I tried.
The first one was good.
Let's go back. The first one was okay. The second one, I thought. Now here, the second one was way better. I thought I liked the second one way better. The first one was. So it's an independent horror film, right? That was a question. Is it?
The first one, yeah.
So it 100% looks like an independent horror film. The way it's shot, it just
starring my favorite slasher.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole reason I wanted to like these movies. I love Kane, but the second movie, going like all the guys going out to hunt him, that was cool. And they just lost me in the third one.
The third one was horrible.
Yeah, so they just lost me. So my interest for the new one is kind of low. It's just like, oh, here's another one I saw this year. It's just like Jigsaw. I'm like, what the? Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
The last one was 5 or 6 years ago, and he died in like the third movie. How is he coming back?
And I
actually
was thinking. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying I actually like Jigsaw, for the most part. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad, and they found a way to pull it off.
Yeah, one of the contestants in Jigsaw was actually in one of my favorite films this year. It Stains the Sands Red.
Who was that?
The girl. She was in Jigsaw. I don't know her name offhand. The main girl from It Stains the Sands Red was in Jigsaw.
That was an awesome movie.
I don't know her name offhand. If somebody wants to IMDb it,
I was gonna say Laura.
That's another movie.
Laura Vandervoort was the main character in.
I don't think she was one of the main characters. I think she was just one of the contestants.
Yeah, no.
I still haven't seen Jigsaw, so I think she was just one of the early kills.
She's actually pretty good. The only problem with Jigsaw, in all the Saw movies is there's like so much fate. I guess have you guys seen all the Saw movies?
Unfortunately.
So how he has two apprentices. Well, Jigsaw's big deal is he had a third.
Of course.
Was it Carrie Elwes?
Is it Carrie Airways?
I think he showed back up.
Yeah.
I said it was okay. I liked it better.
Every time I hear Carrie Airways' name, I feel like I say that. It's like you're using Billy Crystal's voice from The Princess Bride. Hi, Carrie Airways.
He's dead, but he's not all dead.
He's not all dead.
Oh, Brittany
He's
Allen?
mostly dead.
Mostly dead.
Yeah, her role was kind of shit in Jigsaw.
Yeah, she was the main, which is one of the films that surprised me this year. It didn't make my top 5, but It Stains the Sands Red was a very good zombie film.
It was fun. It was, what? It was that movie where it had such a strong beginning. You're like, this girl is like being chased by this zombie, and then they build a bond, and it was kind of like giving you hope that the zombies are getting smarter. Then and like the end of the movie, like she goes to get her
Last
daughter.
10 minutes, it kind of falls off.
Yeah, there was actually a really good movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on Netflix. It's called Pandemic. It's all first person. It's a zombie movie. Kind of reminds me of Last of Us. But check it out. It's on Netflix.
That's older, isn't it? Like,
no, it got made last year. Like, and it got on Netflix this year. Pandemic 2016. It's actually really good. And I don't know how it flew under my radar, but I found it one day and I was watching it and I was like, holy shit, this is pretty good. Don't you love moments like that?
Yeah.
Like when you find a movie.
Well, what happened with me? You, Brian, posted a review of, and I read it and I was like, of the Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I saw absolutely loved. So
yeah,
I knew that movie was out there. I knew it was available, and I was like, And I ended up getting it super cheap, and I watched it. I'm like, oh my god, how did I miss this movie?
It's fun. I mean, it loses its way towards the ending, but it's a fun movie.
That's something I've noticed with horror movies lately. Is once they get towards the end, it starts losing all of its flavor. I guess
They don't know how to tie the bow of the present.
Yeah,
like
that's a good way to put it.
How to fit it all together. There's been a lot of movies this year that has done that for me. Like, we're still kind of discussing disappointments, right?
Yeah.
Of the year.
We're just discussing, bro.
I got it. I think I shared it with you guys, but there, Ghost House. It was filmed in Thailand, and it was a ghost film. Possession.
Yeah, that was pretty disappointing.
I think I remember you talking about that one.
I don't know if you saw that one, but Brian saw it. He wasn't very impressed by it, but I thought the exorcism in the last 10 minutes of Ghost House was fucking badass.
I don't know. I couldn't get into it.
For me, thanks a lot. Is that available streaming?
It might have just gotten to Netflix. Possibly. I'm not sure.
If it's on there, I'll look for it. I got to get caught up on this year's movies. That's why I went out yesterday. I went to Family Video, and luckily they had some of the Family Video is a chain of rental houses for movies in the area. Not available everywhere because most of those are gone now. But they had a 3 for 20 deal going on some of the movies. So I found a few of the horror movies, like It Comes at Night. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I bought the Annabelle Creation movie.
It Comes at Night. That's the story of my life.
Yeah. I think it's the
Yeah.
story of life. And then I bought one other. I don't remember what it was. Definitely wasn't Leatherface.
It does come at night most times.
Yeah, buddy.
Another movie I was very disappointed in was The Hatred.
Oh, yeah. I actually wanted to see that one.
The preview, it's a classic example of a preview that locks you in and then makes you think this movie's going to be fucking badass. And then you watch it and you're like,
that preview, the first trailer or whatever it is, that part where the girl's like, "There's something under my bed" or whatever, and she looks under and she's like, "That's not me." That's a good start to a horror movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some freaky shit.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was like the fucking movie.
Really? That's about right.
They used the biggest scare in their fucking trailer.
You can't do that. It's like when Terminator Genesis came out and they used their twist in the trailer. Did you guys see
What? That it was a shit show?
Well, I mean, not that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some pretty disappointing movies this year. But you know what? As we embrace into the next year, who knows what we're gonna get? I'm already looking forward to Halloween. Did you guys hear the news?
About Nick Castle?
Yep, he's
I
coming.
saw that.
This is going to be the official sequel to the first Halloween movie.
I don't
John
want
Carpenter. The John Carpenter stamp of approval.
John Carpenter's.
What?
Yep. Nick Castle's returning as Mike Myers.
How old is he now?
He's up there.
Super old, man.
He's up there, but he's back as Mike Myers, and you know what?
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty exciting.
But why? I guess because
he's
like
the original.
Laurie's old and now he can be old too. Is
Yeah,
that what
the whole plot of this new Halloween movie is that Laurie never went to the hospital, I guess, after, or maybe she did. Maybe
no,
she
'cause
did.
why would you go to the hospital after sustaining wounds and being chased after a serial killer?
Makes no sense, right? You go to Chuck E. Cheese.
You're right.
But but they're bringing everyone back from, they're bringing back the original continuation afterwards, which, I went back and I watched Halloween H2O, and Halloween H2O is a pretty fucking awesome follow-up to
Okay, I gotta
Halloween
go, guys.
2. What?
I gotta go.
You gotta go?
Yeah, because you said Halloween H2O is a good follow-up to the Halloween.
Oh,
movie.
come
you
on.
hate that? No,
That movie
Oh,
is
come on.
garbage.
No,
That's
you
the
don't.
worst. That's if it wasn't Halloween Resurrection, that'd be the worst Halloween movie to me.
Oh, get out of here. No.
I was
Get
so
outta here with
let
your
down by
bullshit.
that movie. I was let down more by that movie than The Last Jedi.
Get out of here with your bullshit.
Oh.
I absolutely hate it.
Get
I don't know
outta
why
here.
anybody would like it. That's how I look at it.
Because let's face it, 4, 5, and 6 were fucking garbage.
Yeah, good smelling garbage.
I don't know, they just didn't do it for me because it was like a whole supernatural story and fucking stupid. And,
Five is stupid, I admit, but I like 4.
I actually liked 6 with Paul Rudd.
Oh, I like 6 too. It's on my wall. I mean, the poster's on my wall because I liked it so much.
Mhm.
But I was like a big fanboy for Halloween at that time when that came out. So
What did you like about H2O besides it not being a
Everything.
movie about water?
it was all it was a way to get Jamie Lee Curtis to come back and do a Halloween movie, and it wasn't very good. I hated that they ignored. First of all, I hate when movies ignore their past, and it ignores everything, all the events of 4, 5, and 6, which is okay. I guess that's okay. But that was like the first time I had ever seen that done, and I hated it. And then the whole premise of the movie, she changes her name, she has a son, she moves to California, blah blah blah. Great. It wasn't scary. It wasn't effective. Michael Myers' mask changed constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I thought LL Cool J was cool.
LL Cool J was, I guess.
LL Cool J was the bomb.
He was a cool
People
guy.
see.
He let
He
Josh
was trying to write romance
do what he
novels. That
wanted
was
to do.
You ate my bird. Wrong movie.
I don't know. I never liked it. I probably never will even enjoy that movie at all.
I wasn't
You
a
know-
big fan of it either, so you might be in the minority, Brian.
Dude, I mean, come on. You know what it was? I hated 4, 5, and 6. But I'm not gonna say that I hated 4, 5, and 6 more than I hated the producer's cut of the Curse of Mike Myers, because that was absolute garbage. But I will say that, you know, H2O was a redeeming quality. It kind of feels like they've ignored. You're right. They did ignore 4, 5, and 6. It was a direct continuation of Halloween 2, and they made it, you know, the ultimate movie. But then Resurrection came out and said, "Fuck you, Water. We're gonna make this movie with Busta Rhymes." And Busta Rhymes came along, and you know what? I'm just really excited to see that that David Gordon Green is attached to the new Halloween movie. It's exciting, even though he's been doing comedy for a long time. I think he directed Pineapple Express.
He did.
Get Ready World. That's the new Halloween movie.
And that's why Danny McBride's fucking with him, too, which is confusing as shit.
But here's the thing, though. They all got John Carpenter's stamp of approval, and that means it doesn't mean a lot, considering that Carpenter was executive producer on movies such as The Fog and the remake of Assault on Precinct 13 and the remake on whatever movie came out. I forget the name of the title. But he's the executive producer on this one, and he said he's going to be doing the score. He's going to compose a score again.
Yep.
So so unlike the movies such as The Fog, where it was a total shit show, PG-13 crap fest.
You're talking about the remake?
Yeah, the remake, not the original. The original was fucking
I love
awesome.
the original.
But Carpenter has he actually has like a creative saying in this movie.
Yeah, but John Carpenter is not the same John Carpenter from 1987, you know, or 19.
Oh,
He's not.
Oh, no.
he's
He's definitely
glorious.
more musically driven now.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
not that. It's his movies have not been good since the 80s.
Well, if
The
you ever
Madness is the exception.
listen to it,
His last good movie was Ghost on Mars.
Really?
And I know you guys don't like that.
What are you talking about? I love the Ghost.
No,
so
I
much.
take that back because I like vampires quite a bit.
Vampires is great.
Vampires is the shit. I fucking love vampires.
Yeah, but into the 2000s, John Carpenter became irrelevant, and he still kind of is. It's just, I think,
Yeah, what was
I'm
it,
not
The
trying to-
Ward with Amber Heard?
Yeah, the word was okay.
I don't know if it was even okay.
The Ward
It
wasn't a
wasn't-
John Carpenter movie. Let's just
It
face
was
it.
a movie.
It had
It
his
was a
name
movie.
attached to it, but it wasn't a John Carpenter movie.
No, it had potential, but just I couldn't get into it. I don't know if that was just me or I really wanted to like it. I mean, I'm not like a giant John Carpenter fan in the first place. You know, I like some of the movies, but I've become more of a fan of his recently, after rewatching films like Christine and The Fog and seeing why they're brilliant. And honestly, The Thing. You know, The Thing is it's such a great movie, but I was never on board with it until the last couple years. You know,
The Thing is probably his best movie ever made.
What, The Thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that that's John Carpenter's. I don't know if it's his masterpiece out of all his movies, but it's definitely his best horror movie, and yeah, it probably is his best movie ever made.
Yeah.
I mean-
No, it's his masterpiece.
I still lean towards Big Trouble.
It's funny as garbage. I hate that movie.
Love Big Trouble Little China.
Everybody likes that movie but me. I'm the only person on earth that like that movie.
Why? How can you hate Big Trouble in Little China? You
Because it's
are not.
hard to
You
follow
are
when
not
you break
American.
garbage. That's why.
I heard Dwayne the Rock Johnson wants to play Jack Burton in the remake.
Please don't remake that movie. It once is bad.
But I mean, it would play into his acting abilities because it's full of one-liners.
I think if I would have saw the movie when it came out, I probably would have loved it. But I saw it as an adult, and it terrible. It's a poorly made movie overall.
It is corny and it is out there. It's like,
Dude, it's
what the fuck is going on? There's supernatural Chinatown fucking monsters.
Yeah, I watched it in my early 30s, and Elizabeth, my wife, and I were watching it, and we looked at each other when we were done. I was like, what the fuck did we just watch? Why does everybody like that movie?
Motherfucking Kurt Russell. That's
And
why.
that's the thing. That's why I went back to a lot of. I love Kurt Russell. I'm not talking to Kurt Russell. I went back and watched a lot of Carpenter movies after that, like Escape from New York, and I was like, that was one I saw when I was younger, and I absolutely loved, and I wanted to see if maybe I was looking at the movies the wrong way, and maybe that movie sucked. But no, Escape from New York's great. But
Escape from New York was fun.
It is great.
That's Hideo Kojima. That's his inspiration for Metal Gear Solid. In case y'all didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Solid Snake is Snake Plissken?
Yes. And they even mentioned in Metal Gear Solid 2, Snake goes in as an alias as Iroquois Pliskin.
Oh, dude, that was from the original PlayStation.
Right. Well, PlayStation 2. But the original PlayStation was like Shadow Moses.
The original Metal Gear Solid was on PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah. And Metal Gear was on NES, which they took the look from Michael Biehn from Terminator, and they used that as Solid Snake.
Why wouldn't you? Michael Biehn's the best.
Michael Biehn is the fucking man. Holy shit.
Navy SEALs, baby.
Dude, Navy SEALs. Oh my god. Navy SEALs, the best movie with Charlie Sheen ever made? I don't know, probably.
No. Don't even get me started. I was a big Charlie Sheen fan. I like Navy SEAls. Don't get me wrong, but that's not a Charlie Sheen movie.
You know what the best Charlie Sheen movie ever was? It has to be Hot Shots Part 2.
I lean towards the original Major League.
Yeah, those are good, but I got a list on rageofrazor.com of the top 10 Charlie Sheen movies.
Do you really?
Yeah, well, it was right after the whole HIV stuff came out.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, I love this guy when I was growing up. I'm going to make a top 10 list.
Pre-HIV Charlie Sheen.
Men at Work with Emilio Estevez. That's a great one.
Oh, damn, yes.
Yeah, I love that movie. They're both the garbage men, right?
Yeah, they find a dead body. That's
both garbage men.
They find a dead body.
Oh my god, a dead body.
Oh my god, is that a dead body?
Oh man,
that movie is hilarious because it's like Weekend at Bernie's with trash men.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Golf clap. My favorite Emilio Estevez movie, and even though I'm a '90s kid and everyone tells me it should be Mighty Ducks, my favorite Emilio Estevez movie is National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Oh, nice.
Love that
It is my favorite.
Nice.
Tim Curry's in that. Tim Curry
What's
plays
up?
Tim Curry's in that.
Tim Curry, isn't it? He's the assassin for Wilderness Girls.
Yeah,
Wilderness Girls Cookies, yeah. And William Shatner is the bad guy. Kathy
I
Ireland.
haven't seen that movie in forever.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
Samuel L. Jackson in that too?
Yes, he
Yeah,
was. I love him in that movie. He's like, take the little boys' bikes, and Emilio says, like, "Are we really commandeering these kids' bicycles?" And Samuel Jackson's like, "Yeah." They take the bike. I love that movie. That's like my favorite. That has to be like one of my favorite like slapstick comedies. Like if we're talking about like the Naked Gun movies and everything, it's National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon and Hot Shots Part 2. The first Hot Shots was funny. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, it was great.
But Part 2.
But the second one was totally Rambo.
Oh my god, it was
His
everything.
fake muscles. That's the best part.
You know, Charlie Sheen actually gained like 50 pounds of muscles for that role.
They still put on a muscle suit though.
Yeah, But I mean, he
Oh.
gained all that muscle
All right,
for
you
that
guys,
movie.
here's my top 10 Charlie Sheen movies, just for this.
Do it. Do it.
Okay. Number 10,
Do it.
The Wraith. Did you ever see that one?
Oh yeah.
The Wraith.
With Clint Howard. Oh my God! No. I don't know. I can't really
Fantastic
impersonate.
Number 9 is The Chase from 1994.
Yes, Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson.
Number 8 is Navy SEALs.
Yes, David Haysbert.
Yeah.
Dennis Haysbert.
The Arrival. Did you ever see that one?
Right.
I like that one a lot.
That with the legs go like, and they like.
Yeah, their legs like move in.
Yeah. Yeah, even though he dies early on, Young Guns is number 6. Number 5 is Platoon.
Platoon.
Number
Hey,
4,
before you keep going, my favorite Emilio Estevez movie is Young Guns.
oh hell yeah, I like that one, actually. I'm a big fan of Young Guns too,
Wanted.
and the Bon Jovi song that went along with it.
I'm from New Jersey.
So number 4 is Hot Shots.
My toes.
Hot Shots.
Number 3 is Cadence. Do you guys ever see that one? Cadence. Do you ever see that movie? Number 3 is Cadence. Cadence
Which
is
one?
he went AWOL
Oh no,
in the 60s.
that movie actually has some really good songs in it. It has a young Lawrence Fishburne in it too.
Larry Fishburne the third.
Really,
Yeah,
really
Larry.
good.
Larry Fishburne.
Number 2,
Larry Fishburne the third.
Men at Work. Jared, you'll like number 1. Major League.
Yeah.
How can Hot Shots Part Duh
Now
not
they
even
can
be
list
on that
as number
list?
11. Come on, there's some good movies in there. I love Charlie growing up.
Cadence alone pushes Hot Shots Part 2 out.
That movie
You
is
know what?
one of his finer movies.
It really
really-
is. And his dad does a really good job in that movie too.
An alcoholic.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Lucas?
Oh yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen used to sodomize Corey Haim under the bleachers, but then it was reported that it wasn't Charlie Sheen who did it. It was actually one of the producers that used
Wow.
to
Yeah,
sodomize
did you
Corey.
guys see the trailer for that The Tale of Two Corys?
Yeah. Like, why the fuck does Corey Feldman need $10 million to make a movie when Lifetime's already doing a fucking movie? I don't
Maybe
get
because
it.
they're not doing the right movie.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's not based on his story. Who knows?
It might be just based on Corey Haim.
Right.
But yeah, no, I was just like, oh my God, they're playing Corey Hart sunglasses. Like, it's like Corey. But like, no, the kid who plays Corey Haim.
So I'm
Yeah.
canceling
So
cable, but then now that that's been released, I'm like, I gotta wait so I can watch that first.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really excited. I cannot wait to see, because you know what, growing up, you know, as like a '90s kid, I got to catch the latter Corey movies, like Dream Little Dream Part 2, that one movie where they're on the beach, Paradise Beach or whatever it's called.
I'm gonna say
That's a
Dream-
National Lampoon's movie.
Boom.
that
Last Resort.
Last
Last
Resort. But the
Meatballs
Dream
4.
Little Dream Part 2 is underrated. It's actually not a bad movie. There's a lot of people who showed a lot of hate towards that movie. You guys
Oh,
ever
yeah.
see Meatballs 4 with Corey Feldman?
Yes, Meatballs 4. Mhm.
Meatballs 4.
Yeah. It was they were like a water skiing competition team or some shit like that.
Yeah. So bad, but
I
it
bet
was
it has
good.
a lot of boobs in it though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not as many as in Last Resort, but
Jared, it says that Clint Shrink guy is outside your house.
He's outside my house.
Yeah, I'm just looking at see if anybody's still watching on Facebook, and it says we got 4 people watching.
really 4 people? I thought we had like 1.
Well, you know,
'Cause
it's
we've completely derailed from horror and just having our own little commentary.
to have fun talking with each other. Like,
It's been a while, so it's kind of fun.
well, you know,
Yeah.
Completely
In a while.
horror and just having.
Someone's repeating.
that was my computer did that.
It's been a while.
So, what was everyone's favorite horror movie of 2017?
The Void.
Okay.
That counts. We decided it counts.
It does.
It was officially released in 2017. And I liked Get Out also. Those are probably my favorite 2. of the ones I've seen. Although, no, fuck that. Fuck Get Out. I'm gonna say Cult of Chucky. Yeah, Chucky is my second favorite. But yeah, The Void just blew me away. No, The Void blew me away. Jared, I guess, I have a problem with things being overhyped. And as soon as Jared saw The Void, he was messaging me, telling me how great it was and how much influence he saw from different directors, like you, as far as Clive Barker and Lucio Fulci, even, and Cronenberg. And I was like, God damn it! I hope I like this movie. And I watch it, and I'm like, holy shit, he wasn't wrong. This movie was actually really good. It has a decent story. Sure, the acting isn't great, but the effects are I think they're top notch. I mean, I could be wrong, but they look really good and look like most of them are practical.
Yeah.
And I mean, the characters. There was one thing that people bitched about that I saw where people bitched about the lack of character development, but motherfucker, they were for the most part disposable.
Well, look at it when you find out that the doctor is like the fucking leader of the entire cult, and he takes his skin off, and you're just like, holy shit. Yeah, that was like the best part of the movie.
I like the whole movie. I mean, from start to finish. Like, one of my favorite parts is I think they're trying to leave the hospital, and they look outside, and what do you see outside?
The Triangle Cult.
Yeah, it's like, oh, in the movie, and that's the thing I want. I hope there's more. I hope people can make another one because there's tons of room for expansion for this to be a horror series. I think. I mean,
I think they
don't want to get oversaturated. And if they did just one movie, that'd be fine too.
Yeah, because they go into the void, like where everything is creative or created like unexpectedly. You don't know what's going to come out of here, but it's here.
The going into the depths of the hospital, all that, where it was marvelous, I thought, and then leading up to the end, like the last half of the movie is so strong. And we just talked about how there's a lot of horror movies in recent history that have trouble. What'd you say, Jared? Tying the bow, wrapping the bow, or whatever.
Yeah.
And The Void did not. I don't think The Void had any lagging problems, which is something I see in a lot of movies. The Leatherface movie had a lot of like downtime, and you see that in a lot of movies, period, these days. But The Void didn't have that. I was going to say something about Mother. I only got to see the first half of Mother, but that movie was completely intense the whole time. I plan on finishing it, but it was a pretty intense movie. But The Void didn't have any problems with pacing, which is another problem I find in movies like The Last Jedi. Had pacing problems, but I like The Void. I mean, it. Jared, you talk about The Void because I think you're on the same level I am with how great it is. I don't want to take it away from you.
No, I mean, you said a lot of the same things I was thinking. There, quality-wise, there are better movies.
Yeah.
But for what we look for as horror fans, this movie really drew back to what makes horror movies great.
There we go.
Practical effects, no CGI.
100%.
Not much dialogue. Everything is fast-paced. You don't know what the fuck's going on, so the entire time you're like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my god, there's a goddamn fucking thing with tentacles coming to get me. I mean, I saw John Carpenter's The Thing in it. You have Barker's Hellraiser in it with the main character at the very end. He played a very pinhead character.
At least Hellraiser 2 with the way that they go into the underworld.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of had a Hellraiser pinhead character. And then when you get down to the basement and you see these fucking things that you have never seen before in your fucking life, and it's like the worst nightmare you can ever think of. It's like something that is like a fucking blob with just a face sticking out of it that's going to...
Yeah.
For those of you that are still listening with us, the guys that directed The Void are alumni from Astron 6, Stephen Kostansky and Jeremy Gillespie. They have, they directed the hilariously inappropriate Father's Day, Manborg.
Love Manborg.
They've they've been around, but this is their first true like serious film. And the ending, which was a total homage to Lucio Fulci's Beyond, like
Yeah, oh yeah,
I got goosebumps watching the ending of that movie.
I did too. It's funny that when I watched it, Jared, you had started it right after I did on your second, possibly third viewing of it.
Yep.
And here's the thing for me with a horror movie or any movie really is what do I do after I see it? Okay, The Void. Immediately, I told Jared how much I loved it. And I was moving on to other people. You got to see The Void. You got to see The Void. You got to see The Void. Because it was so good. I named a character in a comic after the movie. Because just not because of the character, though that's a great name for him, it's just because I loved the idea of The Void. And the whole ending that you're talking about, Jared, The Void is the Beyond. You know what I'm saying? That's why I mentioned Fulci.
Yep.
The Beyond is so powerful. The movie's kind of weird, and it has pacing issues, and it has problems with continuity in the movie. But the end is so bleak. It's so like powerful. They were able to do the same thing with The Void. And you're right, Jared. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I got the same feeling I got at the end of The Beyond, which The Beyond is one of my top 10 horror movies. You know, and The Void may end up cracking that list eventually too.
So yeah, I think The Void is my number one. When you were off putting your kiddos to what you were doing, Ray, Brian and I were talking about Mother. I think Mother cracks my top 5. I think it's going to be my number 2, even over It.
Yeah, I need to finish watching that. All right, I had this whole plan today, and it got ruined because I was having a good time at my dad's house. Damn it!
Oh, that's cool, dude.
No, they,
This is all.
How dare
This is
you
the
spend
only.
time with your family?
This is the time of the year for family.
Well, you guys are my family too.
You're our family as well, Ray.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm excited about getting caught up on the movies I missed for 2017, as well as looking ahead to 2018. You know, as far as horror movies and conventions go. That was another thing I want to talk about was like, you know, starting the Horror Syndicate really kind of reinvigorated my love for the genre. And you know, going out to conventions and being noticed and recognized from independent horror directors was like icing on the cake, and it really solidified my foot in the horror genre and how much I love it. You know,
Yeah.
So with that, I think horror fans of all different kinds of fandom are the greatest of all. You know why? Star Wars fans get butthurt. Sports fans get butthurt really hard. And comic book fans get butthurt. Those are 4 worlds I'm in. Horror is the most joy. There's a convention that my comic book company is supposed to do in June here in St. Louis. I want to skip it so I can go to the horror convention in Indianapolis. You know, because I know it's going to be more fun instead of having these butthurt comic book fans, you know, and trying to sell comics to them. But 2017 has been a big year for horror for me. Even though I took a break after Halloween, 2017 has been big for me in horror. And the Horror Syndicate, really.
I agree. There's been a lot of. I got an echo.
You got what?
I hear an echo. Must be Brian's mic.
Yeah, he set it down.
One of the big surprises for me this year, and I don't know if I was able to share that with you, was a film called Super Dark Times.
I know I'm going to see that.
I got to watch that film with a friend of mine, and it's a kind of fits into the coming of age where it fits in with It, and it fits in with Stranger Things, and it kind
Is
of
that the one that's made by the what's that? The motorcycle kid. You know what I'm talking about? That's not made by the same person, is it?
I don't know. The only actor I know he was the kid in Wayward Pines.
Oh, Turbo Kid is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, you're thinking of Turbo Kid, yeah. But
Um,
this is like a total coming of age film when 2 friends witness a horrible incident and they have to deal with it going forward. And it's not like what you would call a true horror film, but it is like fucking horrific in theme. And you have anxiety and stress and fear and paranoia. I bought the film from the guy that sent me the screener, and it actually is number 5 on my top 5, right after Get Out.
Is that
And-
available to buy still?
Yeah, it's available to buy on Amazon or through the production company. I think it's Orchard. It hasn't been released on Blu-ray. It's just DVD that I know of, but it sits pretty firmly at number 5, right behind Get Out on my top 5.
What's the full name of it again?
Super Dark Times.
The Dark Times. Okay.
And for the most part, all the kids are pretty unknown. All the actors are unknown, but I mean,
I
it's
like that. That's appealing to me. You know. If there it is, I just got a message from Morgan.
Morgan.
Did you guys get to see some of the other independent movies this year? Like there's a movie called 1031. I think Jared, I think you got to see that, right?
Oh yeah, 10/31/16. Yeah.
Yeah. Our friend Justin Seaman had a segment, and PJ Starks. There's one other one. Night of Something Strange is technically a 16 movie, but I met the cast and crew with that. That movie is crazy. Did you guys get to see that yet? What was it? There was one other one. Pieces of Talent.
I saw Pieces of Talent. I have Pieces of Talent on
What'd you
DVD.
think of that? Yeah, I bought it when they had that 666 sale going on.
Pieces of Talent was actually pretty good. I talked to the cast and crew over at Monster Mania back in 2015, and I asked them a few questions. Everything they didn't have any DVDs on them, but they got my information down. They sent me the DVD, and I watched the movie, and I thought it was pretty decent. Like, it was very well put together. And then it's funny because I met you guys on one of the horror DVD pages that we follow, and everyone was asking for like the copies of Pieces of Talent because they wanted to buy it, and I'm like, holy shit, I have a copy, and I'm not selling mine now due to the high demand of how many people want to see this fucking movie. It was kind of like the way that The Barn is, but back in 2015. Like, everyone wanted this movie. Everyone wanted to see it. I fucking have Barn on vinyl, Barn on VHS, and Barn on Blu-ray.
I've got a nice little barn collection of my own. It's good to see Justin at Days of the Dead Indy and meeting him face to face. He gave me everything I could hold in my hands. Poster. The Blu-ray wasn't out yet, but the DVD, the CD. I got the CD. I didn't get the vinyl. But I got the CD, the soundtrack, the game, postcards, all the shit I could get. And that's something about, like I was saying before, about getting to meet some of these people. People like Justin, Jonathan Straighton, who made Night of Something Strange, and he's got an upcoming movie called Johnny Z.
Johnny Z.
Yeah, I know I supported the Kickstarter, I believe, or the Indiegogo. I'm pretty sure Jared did too.
Yep.
But I'll always support you guys. PJ Starks, who did Volumes of Blood.
Yep.
I'll always support these guys because meeting them up close, they are awesome people, amazing people. Where I've met a couple other people who are kind of dicks, and they're kind of up their own ass, But like Justin Seaman, people like PJ Starks, people like Jonathan Straighton. Those guys I'm always going to support, I wish I would have supported the 10/31/16. They had an Indiegogo. I missed out on that one.
Yeah.
But, that's one of the things about the Horror Syndicate that I've come to love is we've got our ear to the ground and we're part of the indie world. I really love that about us. Jared's busting his ass every week, trying to get screeners to get the indie names out there, And I just don't know what my point is, but I just love the indie horror world. I guess that's the point. Good people.
You really had a good point.
Yeah.
I have the
Indy
I
horse.
hold in my possession the fan vote of everyone voting for the polls that I put out on all the horror pages. I gathered my information through the poll
You
itself,
just want people to see your poll.
through pictures from other pages that I put together.
Is it a Harry
And-
poll?
Yeah, we have the Harry poll.
Is it
We
a-
have the winner is It. It was a close call between It and Get Out for 2017's best horror movie of the year. So those
between those two, it has to be. You know.
Those who have voted, thank you very much. Those who have voted outside the poll by just commenting and telling me your favorite movie, kind of go fuck yourselves, because that's not how polls work. You're supposed to click the link and hit what you want. But
It's pretty easy.
But I did the extra work because I'm a fucking saint, and you deserve all the best in the world.
Yeah, you know,
I went out and I counted all the votes that you chose for in pictures, GIFs, and comments on Facebook.
there's looking
so-
at this list, Brian. There are a lot of good movies that I still haven't seen on this list. The Babysitter. Did you guys both watch that?
Babysitter was awesome.
That was a fun movie. But no, like 1922, Gerald's Game, I haven't seen yet.
I haven't seen either one of those.
I keep seeing
Gerald's
Ice Cream
Game
Man
is-
pop up.
Okay.
Not seen Ice Cream Man. I've seen that pop up quite a bit. Happy
What's the
Death
movie?
Clint Howard?
No,
Ice
not
Cream
that
Man?
one. No, not that Ice Cream Man. Different
Different
Ice Cream
one?
Man.
New one?
New one.
Remake?
Something like that. But anyhow, people really liked Ice Cream Man, and I've never heard of it before. Oh well, cool. I guess I gotta check out Ice Cream Man. I don't know where the fuck it is, but it's out there somewhere.
I keep hearing about it. It keeps popping up on, like, our good friend Rob Martinez, who buys every horror movie ever made. He, I think I've seen it on his thing and a couple other. I'm in a couple other.
I'm
horror.
pretty sure it's the Blu-ray from Clint Howard, but that was like a 90s movie.
And maybe I'm really jealous at all the people who ordered the what was it? It was Synapse Speria on 4K.
Spend $50.
It's,
Oh
it
my
was
god,
expensive, but it
it's
looks
so
great.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Even though I've seen the movie in 35 millimeter, 4K, 1080p, like I've seen it in every form of it. I just don't own that beautiful
I can't
Synapse.
drop that kind of money just on a movie like that.
I'm the same way, Jared. I thought about it and I agonized a little bit on that there because there was also was it Phenomena? Was that the one?
Phenomena had a Synapse release that had like 3 discs that Brian got.
Yeah,
That was like $50 too.
I really
I
wanted
love
that,
that movie.
but I just couldn't. Suspiria is a great movie and everything. You know, I had to wait for. Now I talked about The Beyond being one of my favorite top 10 horror movies. I waited for that special edition Blu-ray with the soundtrack to go down. How much was that, Jared? $16?
Yeah.
Something like that. It's normally like $30.
Yep.
I waited for that, and that's like one that I would usually not think about, just buy it. But I waited for that to go down before I bought that. And the soundtrack's so great. It's in my CD player. It hasn't left my CD player since I got it.
Oh, what, Suspiria?
No, The Beyond.
Oh, the Beyond soundtrack. Oh my god. You know what's funny? In Philadelphia, on one night, it was back to back. The first night was Goblin. The second night was Fabio Frizzi.
Oh,
And it was just like back to back, and I didn't get tickets for anyone. And then John Carpenter was there 5 days later, which I already saw him,
Are
but
you fucking
that was
kidding
the
me?
best week of ever.
Philadelphia, people know how to party.
Yeah. They also know how to throw beer at baseball players and football players.
And Jared, so you know, me and Victoria are going to Brooklyn in March to go see the Midnight live.
You dicks.
They're playing in Chicago too. I don't know how far Chicago is from here.
Yeah.
10 hours from him.
I could take a train and it'd take like 8 hours.
But we got tickets to go see the Midnight.
You fuckers.
I love them. They're awesome. If you guys have not, I know Jared has, but Ray, if you haven't got a chance, check out the Midnight. Vampires. They did a song called Vampires, and it's really a dedication to the Lost Boys.
The Midnight? Is that a
Yeah.
synthwave band?
Synthwave, yeah.
I'll probably like them. I'll check them out.
They've only done 2 shows in LA with another favorite band of mine called FM84.
Oh my god, Running in the Night. I love that song.
Yep. So you're literally going to be watching like their 4th or 5th show if it's because they've only like scheduled like 2 or 3 shows.
Yeah.
It's like literally their 4th or 5th show.
I love him. I love synthwave. And Jared, you know how much I love synthwave. I know how much you love synthwave.
Their saxophone player blows what's his butt out of the water.
What's his name? Not Gerard McMahon.
You know what I'm talking about.
Tim Capella.
Believe. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Oh my god, the Lost Boys. Like, if you don't feel aroused during the Tim Capella scene where he's playing the saxophone covered in grease, it's like you don't deserve to live, I guess.
I saw him at Horror Hound.
At where?
Horror Hound.
Was he doing the same thing?
Yeah, he was. He's like 60, and he's hip thrusting the saxophone. He's actually still like in good shape.
Was he shirtless and had chains on him and stuff too?
No, he still has his long hair though.
Oh my god.
I guess he used to tour sax for Tina Turner a bunch too.
Yes, he did. He was in the he did the saxophone for Beyond Thunderdome. Yep. It's basically Mad Max meets Hook. Fucking garbage movie.
Rufio.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome pissed me off on so many levels that like after like watching it and growing up, I'm like, I can accept you for what you are. It's okay.
I actually saw Thunderdome before any of the other ones just because it was PG-13.
It was on TV all the time when we were kids, Jared.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the first like Mad Max I had, and then I saw these other ones. It's like these are way, way better.
That may have been the most commercial one, though. If you think,
Yeah.
back, the first one. I mean, so the second one came, or the third one came out, Thunderdome, and it had Tina Turner in it, and they made a video
Yeah.
for MTV. And we don't need another hero. Do you remember that, Jared?
We don't need another hero.
So that video came out, and the movie was everywhere after that. And I didn't see Road Warrior or Mad Max until the 90s, I don't think.
Thunderdome.
Yeah, now I want to hear that song.
I fucking hate that song.
You guys ever see the movie Doomsday?
Yes. Yes. I love that. Vicky actually got me into that movie.
I didn't think it was horrible. I thought it was okay.
Better than Mad Max.
When 2 tribes go to war, one is all that you can't score. Score the boat, working for the black. Oh, we're getting carried away.
I love
Again,
it.
it's because we haven't talked to each other very much. Like,
I know, I miss you guys, and everyone who's watching right now is just like,
What the fuck are these guys talking about?
yeah.
you think
We're
we're
gonna be
gonna shut
doing
down?
other things like masturbating to chatterbait.com. Sorry for exploiting you. Oh.
There it is. Hear it. Oh,
We get shut down. Tina Turner looks like Storm from fucking X-Men.
Tina Turner is Storm from X-Men.
What are these fucking earrings?
She don't need another hero.
Do you think if I shared a picture of Tina Turner with those earrings on our Facebook for the Horror Syndicate, people would be like, "This isn't horror"?
No, I think they'll love it. Absolutely.
I'm gonna do
put
it.
that shit on.
but then somebody
The
would
earrings
say,
are-
"This isn't fucking horror."
This isn't horror.
Justin Bevan, our number follower.
You know what the worst people are? Are the people who
so we're gonna do more.
follow your page
We're
and
gonna
then
do
they
more.
unfollow your page.
We're gonna do more brackets soon.
Yes.
And there's a guy named Justin Bevan who hates every horror movie ever made. Apparently, he comments on all of our matchups. One garbage movie versus another garbage movie. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I hope he watches.
I'm sorry that we don't consider Steel Magnolias a fucking horror movie, like or Beaches. Get bent.
Maybe we should send him a private message and see what he thinks a horror movie is.
You probably sent us the picture of like, I don't know, picture of a snowflake.
I don't know if that's a good idea calling out one of our followers, but just wanted to throw that out there because every time I would post a new bracket,
Why did we call him out?
I'm just saying he hates on like every horror movie that we've posted about. He always says something bad about him. It's like, do you even horror, bro? You know.
I always love when we get into fights with people on social media. It's always the best. Like, people really get mad that I say that Predator 2 is a better movie than Predator. Like, they lose their goddamn
shut
mind.
your fucking mouth.
Well, that's one of the problems with this world is nobody's allowed to have an opinion because everybody else's opinion is more important than.
Exactly.
My opinion's better than your opinion.
It's just
versus
that's
that
the
guy's
whole
opinion.
dealing with these Star Wars fans and their opinions are better than your opinion. If you didn't like the movie,
Yeah.
you're not a Star Wars fan. Get the fuck out of here.
And then you
Yeah.
get butthurt over The Last Jedi.
I got butthurt
Yeah.
over it, but I'm not still bitching about it.
I
I'm
know.
not gonna lie, I got butthurt.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I'm with
We're
you.
at 11 o'clock. Let's wrap this up. Thank you for joining our 2017 the best and worst of where we mentioned our best. You fans voted for It. Second place was Get Out. And let's just say third place is Mother.
And let's say Tina Turner is now on our Facebook.
T-shirts down on Facebook.
And Devil's Candy is last on our list.
My name is Brian Enright. The top 3 movies that I chose for this year was Mother, The Devil's Candy, and The Void. You can follow me here at Brian Enright or at the Horror JC
You
here.
really
right?
like Devil's Candy?
Yeah, I like Devil's Candy. Get the fuck over it. Jared, you're up next.
I'm butthurt about that, Brian.
I just did that because I know he likes it. But yeah, you guys can follow me at Jared the Turn on Facebook or at zombie_survivor on Twitter. My top 3 of the year are The Void, Mother, and Stephen King's It. Next
right.
2 are Führer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jared. Last but not least, Razor.
I'm a little pissed that I didn't get to finish it because I'm sure, based on the first hour, it probably would have been, 1 or 2 on my list. But since I didn't get to finish it, I'm gonna say Get Out. That was a phenomenal movie. Let's not bullshit about it. And there was some hidden themes, like when he was in the chair and he was scratching at the chair and the cotton was coming up. That's actually Jordan Peele actually said that's a
cotton picking.
Cotton picking, yeah.
Yep.
Then after Get Out, you know what? Fuck it, Cult of Chucky. Loved it.
Go.
I absolutely loved it. And as I said before, I was blown away by The Void. I don't see why its scores are so low. It's a great movie. And if you haven't seen it, I do believe it's still on Netflix. And so is Cult of Chucky.
Because people are pineapples.
Fucking pineapple.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we didn't even
everybody.
talk about Friday the 13th and how great it was.
Yeah, and our MVP of the night is Friday the 13th, the video game, for being so awesome and bringing back the franchise to the public
Buy
masses.
the rights to Friday the 13th and bring it back and make it good again.
Please, Jason Bloom, listen to us.
Oh.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good
Good
night,
night, Reynolds.
everybody. All right.